Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. It's kind of crazy here. Now my kitchen repainting is done, I actually get to work on all these things again. So, let's see if I can tilt this camera up. I'm upside down. That is a bunch of controllers. So we got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 controllers sitting here. Yeah, that's a lot of controllers. So, what I'm doing now is, of course, getting all the housings all getting ready. Install the keypads and I'm doing all the overlay ones first. I'm getting all the keypads done. All the overlay holders are done. So, keypad, overlay holder, buttons are installed. So now I'm working on all the start, pause, reset button assemblies. So that's exciting. So now I get to go through and build up a bunch of little push button assemblies. So what happened was I used to buy this is a pre-made assembly, but what happened was even before the trade madness this year, the prices kept going up and up and up. So it's like, it's just easier, not easier, but it's a lot less expensive for me just to build up the push button assemblies. And then all the tariffs hit, and my usual supplier for this stopped shipping to the US anyway. And so it's like, okay, fine. And it went from like, it was never the cheapest part. It was always like a $7 or $8 part anyway, which is ridiculous for what it is. But then I can still find it, but it's like a $14 part now. That's insane. I mean, I'm not going to have 25% of my parts cost just be a 3-button assembly here, because there's nothing like insane or anything inherently fantastic about the assembly. There's nothing to it. It's just 3 push buttons, some traces, and they do have some nice header pins on the end, but my goodness, it's like, it's just got to be just too much cost for what it is. So now I'm just going through tonight, building up a ton of these so I can finish getting that section of it done, and then after that, what remains is the most important bit, which is the actual analog joystick itself. So that is the one you have to individually make sure each one of them is more or less calibrated, centered well before I can send it out. So that's what takes, that's the most crucial component of the whole thing, because everything else is just momentary switches and domes and stuff like that, whereas the joystick itself is the real magic behind it. So I just went through and drilled out a whole bunch more of these, and I'll end up just soldering them all up tonight. Then start mounting them into the panels. I have these nice little brass standoffs that they sit on. Try to use fairly decent hardware. I don't want these things falling apart. So how many do I have built up? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Okay, this is number 12. So I need 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got another order, 14, 15. Yeah, so 15 of these I'll build up. So since I'm here, I might as well build up for the next batch. So like I said, this batch is going to go out. I'm hoping to get everyone's controllers done by this end of this week. That's why, like I said, what's going to happen is there's a lot of pre-steps I'm running, going through. That's in the wrong spot. Lots of so all these sub-assemblies are getting built up ahead of time, and then what happens is once I get those joysticks built, the actual joystick itself, once those go in, it'll be pretty rapid fire. So knock on wood, I'll be getting all caught up on my 5,200 orders in just a few days. Because, it's going to go fast and furious. I've been fighting my CNC a little bit, and I had to end up going through and planing the spoil board down, and then going back to my old shop vac instead, my old chip extractor. The key is when you're cutting ABS, you gotta keep that your end mill cool. So I turned down the RPMs, kept the feed rate the same, but the RPMs came down, and then with the come on, I changed the vertical step size to Z-axis. That's another thing too. You don't want to cut too many out at the same time. So knock on wood, since I made those adjustments, I haven't messed up any more enclosures. I messed up more enclosures than I expected, as I thought I had it all dialed in, and I realized it was probably, of all things, the change in my chip extractor. It's just a vacuum was the biggest problem I was running into. And yeah, ABS, when you machine it well, it's a great material, looks great, very impact resistant, but machining it can be a little tiresome, and it's not the best for laser either, because what happens with the laser is it doesn't doesn't burn, it only melts. So you have to be very careful of that. And I hate the smell of lasered plastic, so I am not doing that. It's like if it was acrylic, it would be okay, but something like ABS, it just wants to melt. And that's the problem with the laser and the end mill. So, oh well. So tomorrow, I'm gonna go out to our local archery club and do a little bit of shooting on the old archery range. It should be fun. The weather should be nice. Weather's been very cool here. Very comfortable in Chicago. Mid 70s, which is very unusual. Usually we stay pretty hot until relatively like almost mid-October. It's a very unusual year this year that we had a cool and October is quite cool. August is, end of August, this was very cool this year. I think they said it was a record cool weather for the Chicagoland area. Crazy. Oops. That screw hole looks like it's a little off. Yeah, it's on the C, so it needs to come over one. So yeah. So yeah, I designed this up and changed my CAD. It's fairly close holes to the actual original 3-button assembly I had, to the point where it was only like 50 thou, I think, different. It wasn't a lot. Whatever. I do all my CAD work in metric. So, occupational hazard for being an engineer is you end up getting really used to and appreciating the metric system, which is nice. The units are very easy and it's very decimalized. There's no fractions. Yeah, the United States still are, of course, ANSI units. Sure. The irony is they used to call them English units, and England doesn't use English units anymore. These came with bent pins. That's kind of a pain. But when you buy the stuff in bulk, boy, you get it a lot cheaper. Woo-wee. I got a ton of... I mean, the crazy thing is not like these parts are any different quality. They all come from the same factory. But these are actually really nice clicky buttons, which I like. I like clicky buttons. Gets a really good, firm, a very positive tactile response, which I like. Haptics. That's the word, haptics. Good haptics. Fancy word for feedback for the human operator. Yeah, I used to work for a human company that made a bunch of human interface products. I worked there for almost 10 years. That was a long time. Yeah, I worked there for almost 10 years. A company called Grey Hill. They're up on LaGrange. Very fancy suburb. That and Western Springs, which is its neighbor. Oh my goodness, those are some nice and very expensive houses there. Alright, so now I just get to go through and just do a bunch of solder work. I should probably use a vise for this. Where's my vise? I'll borrow my vise I use for pressing. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I worked there for maybe I used the big one, the big machinist vise. Oh. The irony is I don't really have a lot of vices. I don't drink, I don't smoke, don't do drugs. That's about it. Yeah. I mean, I'll drink like the occasional beer at like a social setting, but day to day, I'm not a drinker. Never smoked, never liked it. It was about, oh man, like 8 or 9 years, when I was 8 or 9 years old, so that'd be, what, 80, 81, 82, somewhere in there. We're down in Tennessee on vacation. I got burnt by a cigarette. Somebody burnt me with a cigarette. My parents don't smoke. But smoking was really common in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And it was by the pool, and they were smoking, and it's like, I don't know what they're doing. They're flicking it, or I forget how it was, but I bumped into it, and ow, that hurt. And that's my origin story for my dislike of cigarettes started. Wow, there's a lot of parts. This vise is the most crazy overkill I've ever done for this, but it's holding it really steady, so I can't complain. So I'm going to probably be turning my fume extractor on soon, so I'm going to have to stop the video, as it's just too darn noisy for video. All you hear is the fan. So yeah, the build's going along well. Should have I'll probably have a couple actually ready to order shipping tomorrow, and then a lot more on Friday, and I really want to get all these done by the weekend, so I'll be caught up on like 10 or 11 orders or something like that, so I could switch back to the Intellivision stuff. So all the people who've been waiting patiently will get a bunch of controllers. The Atari controllers will go out, and then I'll do the same thing with the Intellivision. I'll batch those up as well. They're nowhere near as complicated as the 5200 is a pretty complicated little beast here compared to the Intellivision controller, because Intellivision is just a digital controller. It's weird because it's got the 16 directions, but in terms of like nowhere near the amount of solder and crimping and that goes into the 5200 controllers. So, but those are interesting little beasts. Yeah, to factor in a bunch of R&D costs in those, because I went through a lot of trial and error before I got those going out. But people seem to be happy with them, so I'm guessing hopefully by the end of next week, it's the first week of September right now in 2025, hopefully end of next week I'll be mostly caught up with all my orders, so that'll be good. I'm tired of having long lead times and things like that. I just want to be able to build these at a more comfortable pace than having a huge pile of controllers. And that way it'll free me up to work on the handheld Intellivision, release the LT 5200 controller. I want to be able to do all that. So, alright. I gotta turn my fume extractor on because this is getting a little stinky. This thing, the problem is it's, whoa, right by my microphone. My microphone's right up here. Whack my microphone and it's going to be way too loud. I mean, I'll show you. I don't think you want to listen to that. Or maybe you do. Maybe you're weird. But I'm going to stop the video, upload this, and then finish soldering these, put all the buttons on them, start mounting them up on the controllers themselves. So that'll be that is up next. So tomorrow night, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to actually start finishing up controllers tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's a pretty easy day house-wise, so yeah. Back to building, man. Time to solder. Everyone have a great evening and see you next time.